TheChowTimePod. It's your host, Red. I got a video today from Jubilee. It's the alpha versus beta debate, and I think this is actually a very good discussion just to have. I have not watched this video. It's actually an hour long. I will do the full video, but I'm probably going to break it up into like 3-4 videos. So, because I think this is actually important topics to discuss. So please like and subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate that. And let's get to that chow. It's chow time.
Men should be the stable ones. Men don't need to be crying in front of women.
Right.
And ideally, they're not splitting chores. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but I think that if a woman cannot look up to you in some way, then she cannot respect you. And if she cannot respect you, she cannot love you.
Yes.
I totally disagree.
I totally agree.
Totally disagree.
Step 4.
I think it's crazy that they literally labeled these people this way. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like derogatory in my opinion, but it provides a discussion.
Forward if you agree with the prompt. Men are designed to want to sleep with multiple women.
Yeah, of course. Only the alphas would move
Yeah, I would
forward.
say I definitely agree that men, want to sleep with multiple women. I think it's natural because one of the things is because we have so much sperm and that we produce so much sperm and that makes us want to repopulate.
Yeah, even just that, if we don't have sex, we overload ourselves with wet dreams and things like that. Scientifically, we're not quite fully sure how wet dreams work. Some people get them, some people don't. But it seems to be when men, hold, retention, that, there's a certain cap of how much you can hold. So it's going to release a certain amount, let's say, in a sense of releasing steam. So it seems like, yes, men are made to just constantly pop nuts.
The earth basically. And so a lot of times what happens is I think that society is telling men not to do that for whatever reason, you know what I mean? And some guys fall into that, but I definitely believe that, men actually want to be with multiple women because it's just a natural thing in us. This is why you hear all the time, men always cheating and guys feel like they, trying to hide the cheating and everything like that. And if it was natural for them to just want to be with that one woman, then cheating wouldn't even be an issue. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, I think for the way we were
That's a pretty solid reasoning for it.
cultured, I agree with that, but also to just through
I'm happy that they have an Asian guy. This is actually a very decent demographic. It's an Asian guy. I think freaking what you call is pure white, like a white guy, black guy, and then it looks like somewhat of a European guy. So like a little bit of different races, and different backgrounds. I kind of like that.
human history, right? For survival, maybe this is old school thinking, but it's just like for survival, you need to have lots of kids. So if someone's pregnant, how do you keep multiplying? You just more women, right?
Yeah.
Not saying it's right or wrong, but it's just kind of the way. I think women even cheat too. It's like 50-50.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
women also want to do their thing, you know what I'm saying, in some situations, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's just men. I think it's a natural, I feel like because that desire is there, it's a natural thing for, if we're talking specifically men, that desire to want to do it is natural in us. So then therefore you're going to want to do it. So I don't think it's a natural thing to just be with this one woman, but at the same time, when I'm with this one woman, I only want to stay with her. It's almost like I'm lying to myself if I just want to be with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. But the question is that the end point? Is being with multiple women the end point? I'm of the firm belief that it is important to position yourself as a man to have the capacity to be with as many women as you possibly can, and position yourself in a way where you understand female nature and you maximize your potential as a man. And
This is what I feel like Red Pill is maximize your benefits, understand the market, understand everything, and then, go about it that way.
And that's where I don't necessarily agree that just because there's a deeper desire to continue to do it means it's going to be the most optimal thing for you and your own ability to thrive at the highest level and connect with God here on earth.
I was taught not to be with multiple women, right? But it's like, especially, here's the thing, especially when you're in a relationship, right? It's like, it's better to grow together with somebody than multiple people, which I totally agree. But I think in the dating terms, it's like, there's nothing wrong with being multiple women. because I think that's just dating. It's experimenting, it's finding other people. But are we naturally made to just always be with one person. It's like, if that were true, then these first thoughts of being with another woman, even though I'm in a committed relationship, would never occur. But it comes up once in a while. But it doesn't mean I'm acting upon it. So
And you might be being generous about saying once in a while. Probably goes up quite a bit.
it depends what kind of relationship you're in, I guess, or how good of a day it is, right? Like, but I would say for me, if it was totally natural, even though I was nurtured into only being with one woman, that these thoughts wouldn't occur then.
Right.
It's hard to say for me. I was nurtured to be with one woman and to really be the head of household, to, always do the right things, that type of stuff. But my father was an adulterer, and that made me see the damage that it did. This is why I do not defend cheating. I really do not. It ruins things, if you've already built things and you just want to go sleep around, behind the other person's back, it ruins things. It just doesn't ruin your partner. It ruins your children too. I'm sure, I can actually say 100% guarantee that it affected my brothers and sister and myself, right? And I grew up, supposed to be, with one person, but I had an example in front of me that didn't do that. He took care of the family, he took care of the house, but he was an adulterer, right? I try to make myself not be that way. Yes, of course, as a man, I have feelings and have urges to want to do some of those things. But it's also that discipline. And what do you want out of life? Do you want women all the time and just doing whatever? Or do you actually want to settle down, have kids, and build with someone? It all depends on the person. Some people don't even have the capacity to build with someone anymore, right? And it's fine. But he's 100% correct, in my opinion, that how you were nurtured really does make a big difference, because single mother homes that don't have a father in there, that the son comes out to be like a Tyrone type or a Chad type, they're going to run through women. They're going to run through women like crazy. Well, a good example would be Tupac, right? Ray's super simp, super nice guy. When he finally got the clout, got the thing, boom, he ran through women like crazy. It is what it is.
And the thing with me, I'm non-monogamous, so I have a wife, I have a girlfriend, and I still, from time to time hook up with other girls. You know what I mean? And the thing is, it feels regular to me. It doesn't feel like I'm trying to do it or doing it because I'm forcing myself. It just feels just natural, like it's something I want to do. You know what I mean? And so to not do it feels unnatural. You might just want this one woman for a relationship. I can understand that. But sexually, though, I think it's all BS.
Yeah, I agree. I think a man can absolutely be head over heels in love with a woman and still sleep with other women and it not mean anything to him.
Right.
And I think all men have the proclivity to want to sleep with other women. Now, whether they're able to speak to that and actually act on that or not, or if they've been able to, like you said, religiously find a way to work around it. And I think religion has been great for that, because if it weren't for religion, we probably would not have society. But I think what's most important to identify is that a man should create choice in his life. And if you have choice, you should be able to do as you wish, particularly like in your case, like in my case, if there's no deceit.
Exactly.
It's the lying. That, in my opinion, is actually the overall problem.
I will agree with Justin. If there's no deceit or lying, I can agree with it. But when there's the deceit and lying, that's my issue. You went in wanting this, both got married, handled your business, got kids, and then now you want to do your thing without, consent or anything like that. That's a problem.
Yeah. When guys, tend to go outside of a relationship, they lie to the woman.
Right.
That's the problem.
So when I was growing up, I was under the belief of just being with one woman, right? Like I was a virgin for a very long time. Then one girl broke my heart. So that caused a lot of insecurity, resentment towards the other side, right? And then I just became like a man whore for a little bit.
The problem is you have guys who are monogamous, but they're monogamous because they're forced to be monogamous. In a way, meaning that they have no choice because they don't have the skill to attract multiple women.
And a lot of times they'll use that as virtue signaling. I would never do such a thing. Well, actually, bro, you can't.
All right. Can the disagreeer step forward?
I remember when I would like go on tour and things like that, my friends would.
Whoa. I don't want to fucking judge, but damn. Damn. All right, I'm not gonna say anything.
always try to encourage me to like hook up with girls that were on to me, but I wasn't really like into it, and it made me feel like weird, like off, like there was something wrong with me. And now I'm at a point in my life where I feel like I'm only having sex with multiple women, so I'm not weird, so I'm quote unquote normal. I feel like even when I do have sex with these random women, it doesn't give me any gratification. And I know that comes with like random sex in the end, but I know in the back of my mind that like I just like simply don't enjoy this. Like I've been with multiple women and I've been with one woman, and being with one woman is just so peaceful. As far as like telling young men that they
Can agree with that. Being with one woman and dedicating time and effort to one woman is so much less stress. You don't have to deal with anything. You don't have to deal with messages. You're just going forward, right? When you're dealing with a lot of women, roads end constantly, right? With a whole bunch of women. Sometimes you get to the talking phase. Sometimes you actually get a date. Sometimes you get this, but it's not just like these are how you're dealing with multiple women at a time, right? So it's just like, I mean, yes, you shouldn't be stressing. If she doesn't pick up, she doesn't pick up, or she doesn't fucking deal with the date. It's not a big deal. But it does add a bit of nuance to your life that wasn't there if you were just to be with one woman.
born this way and that they should feel this way, it can really not do damage, but just sort of make you second guess things about yourself.
See, I don't think he's like they're being born this way and should be this way. I don't think that's what they were saying. And they're saying, yes, you were born this way. And they didn't say you should be this way. They're just saying it is what it is, right? And some, of course, are gonna be outliers. There's obviously asexual people that literally don't care about sex. Those are rare people. I have family members that kind of identify this way because they have no urge to want to have sex, even though they're a male, which is a little frustrating for some males to understand. At first, I was just like, wait, what? And then I had to kind of like really process that information. So, I mean, he might be that type of person. He might be a monogamous person. Like, just because it was wired into us biologically to want to do this doesn't mean we can't override some of that biology in a sense. Yes, most of it you can't. I mean, you really can't. But at least you can tame urges.
Am I normal? Am I weird? Is there something off about me? Everyone else around me is saying that I have to feel this way or I have to do these things, but yet I don't feel the courage to do those things.
I would say that's not true, though. I don't think that we should promote men sleep with multiple women. I think that we should promote choice and what feels right to you. So in your particular case, I would never tell you to sleep with multiple women. I think you might be doing the right thing to do exactly what you're doing and not do it or stop doing it. It's not about pushing it on the young men, but I'll tell you, there's a lot of young men that have a demon inside and maybe are really upset and frustrated with themselves because they feel a certain way. And it's like, oh, I'm coming out the closet. I'm straight, or super straight or too straight or whatever it is. I think that it's really going to be about choice, man. So if me to you, I tell you, if that you don't feel good doing that, man, I wouldn't do it at all.
Yeah, I agree. In your situation, what was happening, and this is what I think a lot of times what happens is you have guys who will have sex with multiple women because they're trying to fill a void. Right. So it shouldn't be about filling a void. It should be about you actually desiring. So you don't desire to do it, so which is why you shouldn't do it. But there are guys who desire to do it, but then they're suppressing their desire, and then it's doing the same thing as you not wanting to do it. Like they feel weird about not doing it, but they want to, whereas you felt weird doing it, but you didn't want to.
I think it's a society thing. Like what you just said, who's making them feel guilty about not doing it? Other men. The reason, I think women and men, the question was, do you feel that men are meant to sleep with multiple women? Or they're just that's what they do. And I don't think that's true. I think it's a part of your character and who you are. I do believe that if you're going to be honest with your partner is into it. But do I believe that we are biologically meant and it's in our head because we have to procreate and this and that? I don't believe that. I believe the reason we do it a lot is because it's looked upon as a great thing for men to have multiple women. Women are shamed for that. Shamed totally. I have one son and two daughters, and I know the difference of how I felt when they were 15 or in their 20s, now they were 15 versus him having multiple partners or my daughter.
So if I could struck a check for $1 million and never feel that feeling again, I absolutely would. I really, really would. It's something that I really hated myself for, and I felt very apart. I grew up in the South Louisiana. It was a Bible Belt. And I felt very distant from people around me because I had this urge in me and could not understand why I was so different. Like the biggest self-hate I've ever felt in my life is over this particular subject. I thought I was broken.
And I understand you. And me, again, I'm going to come back with, just being around it. And me, I'm bisexual. I've always have been. But like you heard me say, I've been married to a woman for 30 years. And I've been committed for 30 years. It doesn't that I don't have that desire. It's my character to say, this is my person. And that's who I want to be with.
I'll agree with that man on this one.
So that's what you're making a character versus is the driver.
I was going to say.
Then that goes back to, are we just built that way? Because if we're just built that way as men, then there's multiple people that I'm going to want to sleep with.
But I think what I was under the impression with that question was, are we biologically DNA created for that? I say yes, but I loved and I agree with what we're saying here. It's like, but as men, right, in the culture and awareness and being a human being, having a consciousness, choice, language, we can choose not to. We can go against those desires or urges and stuff.
If you feel that desire and you're honest with your partner, I believe that is true. Do I believe that we are biologically meant to, we just biologically want to sleep with more people because we have a penis between our legs and not a vagina? I don't.
Well, see, that's the part where I do disagree. Because in every other species and every other animal, that is their biological, imperative. So it makes sense that for humans, it's the same thing. It's just that, yes, dude, I love the Asian, love Kevin. Yes, because we developed language. Yes, we developed culture, and we developed a whole bunch of things that other creatures do not have. Yes, we're able to curve that biology slightly because we know what's going on and we want to be able to build for a greater society. This is why other animals don't build humongous societies like we do, because they don't have that language, that urge, that be able to protect yourself or protect women in a sense in that way. They just, even monkeys, they have hierarchies and they do communities, but you don't see those communities grow to massive rates as humans do. Because humans are able to at least curtail some of their biology for the benefit of society.
Let me ask you this, though, because you said you're bisexual. So that means you're attracted to men and women, right? So if you're with a woman, aren't you also attracted to men? So wouldn't you want a man and a woman?
No.
So you're just like, I just want one and that's it.
I made a commitment. And it's not even like
But there's no urge to want.
There's always
more
urge.
That's what I'm.
See, he admits it. There's an urge. So that's what the question was. I'm not hating on this man at all. His answers are spot on to me. But yes, I don't think he's realizing that the question properly.
That's what we're talking about. But that doesn't mean that I'm biologically. I think men and women both have urges.
Where do you think the urge is coming from, though, if it's not biologically inside of you?
I think the urge comes from, I don't think it's a biological thing. I think
temptation, not urge.
But the urge creates temptation, no?
But is temptation bad? Like you say in a way that's kind of like temptation.
No, I don't think temptation's bad. Natural. I don't think it's a thing of then that goes back to all of us then. All of us are meant to sleep with multiple people. So then that's just a whole different society thing. But it's not just, the question was, as men, are we? And I don't think so.
But regardless, I think it's important to understand, 'cause I think we are. And if we can come to terms with that, we can begin to move past it if that's what we desire. But if we reject that idea that it's not natural, then we can't move past it if that's something that someone wants to do.
But do you agree it's just men? That statement that it's just men?
No, I think it's women too.
Okay. That's where I disagree.
Oh, no, because we just talking men.
Right.
But I agree that it's men and women.
What it sounded like was, and correct me if I'm wrong, people started talking about like infidelity and, you know, telling the truth. And I think like the urges and things are okay until you act upon it. And that's when both adults just have to have a conversation about, you know, this isn't working out for me. I still want to, you know, sleep around or whatever you want to call it. It sounds like some people want to have their cake and eat it too.
Yes.
Which I don't necessarily agree with. But I think just as long as all parties involved have an understanding of what they're getting into, I don't see the issue.
I mean,
I like
honestly,
that, man.
I don't think I could say it any better than he did. That
Oh, another Asian
which
guy.
I feel like most of us or all of us kind of agree upon that. In the end, it is a choice. That like, if you want to be in a poly like relationship, that's fine as long as everyone's in agreement. Obviously, don't, you know, be in a monogamous relationship and then, you know, like single-handedly choose to, you know, sleep with another woman without telling your partner. Like that's when like issues arise.
Hi, this is
Dude, this is amazing, Chow. I love that Jubilee did this. You know, the conversation is really good. You know, yes, I can understand how people can get confused by the question here and there, like the Indian gentleman did. I'm not sure if he's Indian, but the gentleman with dread, I think his name is Derek. You know, like, but what he said, I don't disagree with. But what everybody said, I also don't disagree with, really. And I think they all came to a very good consensus about it. It's just like the little nuances that they were trying to like battle out. I didn't think it was that big of nuances to even speak of. So please like and subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate that. And let's get some more Chow going.